What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Simeon here, and we are going to be talking about a highly requested topic, which is what to put in your contracts as a freelance videographer, covering things like ownership rights, scope of work, how to protect yourself from late payments or people who don't pay you. This is going to protect your time, money, and creativity, and you're really going to want to hop on this, especially if you're starting, because like I said, it's going to protect you from just dealing with the wrong type of person. You're not going to realize you need a contract until the day you decided to work for someone and didn't write one out, and you just don't want to deal with that back and forth. So I want to make sure you guys know what I put in my contracts to make them legally binding, and they're legal in the state of California. Putting this stuff in these contracts will make it legal for wherever you live. And if you're not doing that, you're going to want to start right away just to protect yourself and your business and your time, money, creativity, all that good stuff. So why are contracts important in the first place? Well, when you are agreeing to work for a client and you're delivering a service without something on paper to say what you're doing, the date you're doing it, who the contract is between, how much you're getting paid, when you're turning it around, all of that could get messy. All of that back and forth, especially if it was a phone call and there's no trail, no paper trail, no text message trail, no email. All of what you guys agreed to over the phone can get really messy, and that misunderstanding can burn bridges. It'll damage your reputation, and it'll just make you frustrated with dealing with clients in the first place. So we want to avoid that. So one of the first things that I start with are the basics and scope of work. You need to have in your contracts who you are dealing with. So your business entity or your name and the client always goes on the contract, and what you're agreeing to. So if that's one highlight video, 60 seconds long, no raw footage with licensed music, you know that's what you're delivering. And the client can't come back to you and say, no, I agree to raw footage. I wanted you to put this song. I don't own the rights to it, but I wanted you to put that. And I wanted you to make me a 5-minute video. You're protected. The scope of work is important because it just lays out exactly what you guys are agreeing to. And some people will lie. Some people will try to squeeze as much out of you as they can. But with that written down, they're not able to do that. So make sure you're writing who you're dealing with and the scope of work. Next is payment terms and deadlines. So I'm the type of person that I like to get my deposit up front, 25% deposit, especially for the bigger projects like weddings, quinceañeras, bigger events. I like to get my deposit up front. I know some people that do 50%, but I just keep it 25. And then the date of the payment is the day of the event for me. I don't like being paid after I've given them the deliverables, because in my head, I just feel like it can get messy on when they give you the payment. Like some people will wait till the very last day. If you agree to like a 7-day turnaround clause, some people will wait till the 6th day and the late night hour before they pay you. And you just don't want to deal with that. So for me, 25% up front, and then the remaining balance paid in full to me on the day of the event or the project or the job. During this time, you're basically just setting up all of your requirements for when you are getting paid and when you are delivering the final project to the client. And you can outline all that stuff in the payment and deadlines clause of the contract. The fourth thing is revisions or extra work. Now, this is something you really want to pay attention to. I cannot tell you how many times I came across my own contracts because I wasn't using templates. I was writing them out and I forgot to put a revision. The revision is, if you're unfamiliar, anything that the client wants to change about the project, whether it be the music, whether it be a certain scene they want to take out, whether it be the coloring or the editing, whatever that may look like, you don't want to work with a client who is giving you revisions bit by bit. This allows them to kind of just give you all of the revisions that they want right out of the gate, instead of you doing one thing at a time, turning it around, and then they ask you for another revision. You turn that around and they ask you for another one. Like, that is just not efficient. Nobody wants to deal with that. Your time is precious, so treat it that way. So when you're talking revision, I allow one revision. This gives my client the room to give me any feedback in case it needs it, because sometimes they love it. Sometimes they want to change a few things, which is perfectly fine. But you want to deal with people and let them know, I need all of the notes out of the gate. I can't do the one at a time type of thing. It just works best, and it's the smartest way to do it. So outline what's important to you in terms of your revision, how many you want to give, 1, 2, 3. I do one, but you're your own person, do what you do. And this gives you an opportunity to sell extra revisions. So if you are in your contract saying you're allowing one revision, And after you gave that one revision, the client wants one or two more. Now you get to write in that clause, any extra revision is going to cost X amount of dollars. Now that can be a per hour cost, or that can be just a flat rate, whatever you decide. But that's your opportunity to add. If you want extra work out of me, you are going to pay that. And as a freelancer, you got to put that revision in the clause. You have to do it. Now we're on cancellation and rescheduling policy. This is huge because you will have clients that pay you that deposit that we talked about earlier, and then they cancel. For me, they don't get that back. They don't get their deposit back, because when I book somebody for a day, if I have another client who wants to book me for that day, I have to turn that job away, because I'm telling them that day is booked, so I can't take their project on. Now, if I'm turning people away constantly, I'm literally turning away money that is coming at me. That's why I don't give my deposits back, because I lost out on potential jobs that I could have gotten. Hopefully that makes sense. I think I explained it a little weird, but hopefully that makes sense to you. And rescheduling, things happen. You know, sometimes a client might be free on a certain day. It may be an emergency, or, you know, something that they had to deal with, so they had to reschedule your shoot. Now, I do a rescheduling fee if it's within 24 hours. So if I'm prepped, I'm ready to go, and a client hits me up with like 3 hours prior to the event, they lose that deposit, and they just have to pay another deposit in order to reschedule for that project again. And this just protects you for clients that want to book you and then they back out. I've dealt with somebody like that when I didn't have a contract and I lost out on 2 jobs. So I make sure that this is in my contracts. I don't play that. We're almost at the end. The next one is intellectual rights and usage rights. Now, for most of my work, I get to keep ownership of anything that I shoot, because I like to use it for promos. I like to use it for ads, or not ads, but virtual brochures, or even just like my portfolio. I want to use everything that I have, anything that I've shot in my portfolio. And as a videographer, you're creating original content in video projects. You have to be very clear on who owns that footage. For the most part, no client that I've had issues with me owning it. And if they do, for the most part, they'll probably make you sign NDAs and all the other stuff when it's like bigger budget stuff. But overall, I've never had that issue. But this just protects you to be able to use your footage in any way that you see fit, because you are a business, you are a brand, and you should be able to. You have that right. And then the last things are just boilerplate and signatures. So boilerplate are just basically like any disclaimers, any confidentialities that you want to have written down, any liability waivers that you want to make sure you mention. And then they have to have a signature. Like if they don't sign it, it doesn't exist. It's just something that you wrote out, and there's no actual legally binding piece of that contract. So you have to make sure that they sign it. What up? My wife just walked in, so I'm about to wrap this up. Good meeting. All right, so I'm about to talk to my wife. That's what I put in my contracts. Hopefully it was useful. And write in the comments next what you want to see or what topics you guys want, and I'll see you in the next one.